to steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real?
Hey Diego, how you doing, brother?
Very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, man. I've had the opportunity to talk to you a couple of times. I remember right after you directed Cesar Chavez, we had a great conversation, and I wonder now. I want to talk about storytelling because Andor, unlike the other Star Wars series that's made it to TV, you were the only person I've seen come from the theatrical world to the streaming to the streaming stories. I just want to know, like, how has storytelling changed? Like, does it feel like you're shooting TV series, or you feel like you're shooting like a long movie when you're shooting these type of series for the streaming platforms?
Thank you for your question, man. Yeah, it's definitely the second. At least with this team, you know, I've done other stuff for TV, but this is the first time I do something like this. It's basically 4 films that we shot, you know, and in terms of the development and the pre-production work, it's as intense as it is in the film, you know. I would say even more because you're more ambitious, you know. But then once you start shooting, you have less time. So you have to be like very precise. You have to know exactly what you need and why you're there and what you want to get, you know. But we were always very interested in having a cinematic language, you know, and making sure the aim was the same, you know. We said let's not give concessions because we are doing a 12 episode piece. If it's 12 episodes, it's gonna have the integrity of a film from beginning to end, you know. And I think you can see that on the series, you know, like the way it's shot, the patience that the series has, like the tempo. It's not about like, you know, creating an effect fast, like a fast reaction on you. It's about asking you to join a ride that is gonna take its time, you know, and it's gonna be wonderful if you give it the chance, you know. I think I mean, we are very pleased, and we can say we had the freedom to do what we wanted to do, and we went all the way with that conviction of doing something we can feel proud of, and here we are, you know, like bringing this, you know, to an audience, hoping they find it interesting.
It's a hurry. Got some place to be?
Yeah.
What, not happy to see me? No love for Nachi.
No, I'm late, okay?
Oh, I know. I want my deposit back.
I wish I could, but it's in play. Just waiting to hear they're on site, okay? Vetch? Seriously?
I'm not one of these losers gonna let you float until they forget how much you owe them.
You're here with him. To what? To threaten me? Vetch, you let him talk you into this?
The subject is money.
I just ask you a question.
What?
Since when you take orders from Nurture?
Don't answer that.
You need work this bad.
Leave him out of it.
What I find interesting about sci-fi is that as we lived in this world and we progressed through all the facets of you know, racism and non-representation. I mean, we've seen stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek, rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, you know, have representation early. And I love the fact that Cassian is representing and has this action figure that kids could go into the store and buy something that they feel like looks similar to them. I remember growing up, and Mr. T was the only thing that we could buy that was like a black action toy like that. How important do you feel like it is that you represent that character and that you've given kids an outlet to have a representation of them into an action hero?
I think it matters a lot, and what I think it's happening, and I'm glad it's finally happening, is that the content and the stories are reflecting the world we live in. You know, it's like it's happening out there, and it needs to happen in the stories we bring to audiences. You know, the world we live out there is so rich because of that diversity and those so many cultures interacting, and our stories have to reflect on that and have to pay attention to that. I think, you know, what's happening, that I love, and I think a lot has to do also with these new ways to bring stories to audiences, with the platforms and all of these new chances to connect. Is that audiences are finally having a voice. You know, it's audiences who are hopefully shaping today's industry. You know, by clicking or by paying a ticket, you're sending a message. By not doing it, you're also sending a message. So it's a time where the industry is listening in a different way. You know, today is not anymore a guy behind a desk saying, "Oh, what people want to watch is this." No. Now they know what you want to watch. So make sure you send the right message, because they're listening. You know?
Well, make sure everybody sends the message on September 21st when these episodes release. It's got a great sneak peek. I can't wait I could talk to the world about it, but always great talking to you, Diego, and can't wait to see you and whatever you got going on, man. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good to talk to you.
So which is it? I know big stats are game. I know you bribe quartermasters to leave valuables on the ships before they come in for scrap, but this isn't that. This isn't something that I let pass.
No. I went in and got this myself.
How? How's that possible? It was sealed on the Imperial Naval Base in Steergard.
Look, you got the money, I got the box. What else is there to talk about?
I'll give you another 1,000 credits to tell me how you got it.
Another 1,000.
Done. How?
You just walk in like you belong.
Takes more than that, doesn't it?
What, to steal from the Empire? What do you need? A uniform, some dirty hands, and an Imperial toolkit. They're so proud of themselves. They don't even care. They're so fat and satisfied. They can't imagine it.
Can't imagine what?
That someone like me would ever get inside their house, walk their floors, spit in their food, take their gear.
Hey, man. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
How are you?
We're having a bit of a day of realizing that we're in Star Wars. So it's quite a big day today. I don't think I really realized what I was involved in until I spoke to all the people that I've spoken to all day. So
it's gotten real.
It's gotten real. This is a real situation. We are in Star Wars. It's happening.
So I must ask now, will you participate in all the May the 4th be with you and all the Star Wars rituals that all the fanatics do? Will you be in Comic-Con in a stormtrooper suit? Like, what's going on? Like, are you fully committed?
No, but you know, I once saw, do you remember? So Ben Mendelsohn went to a Comic-Con once. And he was introduced by Gwendolyn Christie. And he came in his full outfit. And he walked along with 2 Death Troopers behind him, and he just walked like a badass through the audience.
Swished his cape,
looked back at them and went, and then walked off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that. I don't want to do all the talking and everything. Just let me swish through looking really mean, and then I'll leave.
Yeah.
That's my intention.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied.
everywhere. They're watching me now.
Soon enough, these days will end.
Well, I've had the lucky opportunity to screen some of these episodes, and I'm excited for the fans. As I'm sure that you guys are going to get, even though y'all have done great work before, you're going to get a whole new group of fans after watching this. Kyle, it's a line in there where you say the risk of doing nothing is the greatest risk of all. I know that was a line for your character, but do you believe that is that something that you buy into?
100%. And that's one of the things that drew me, and I think Denise, to the project was Tony Gilroy's writing was just so real and human and so full of conflict and complexity and contradiction. And that character in particular, Cyril, is really conflicted. And that's a beautiful statement. And that could apply to the rebels, or that could apply
Andor
to the Empire.
Yeah.
You know, so like there is real, it's all relative, isn't it? Cyril really believes he's doing the right thing. And he's enacting out his own inner demons on the right or wrong side, depending on where you're leaning, in order to try and capture Cassian and gain more power. But it's relative to him in that statement, I believe in.
And you spoke of the writer, but like how is it that Star Wars, no matter if it's Rogue One or Andor, it always seems to speak to the times that we're in now? And if you look back to, it seems like it's such an evergreen story, speaking about human conflict as Denise was speaking about. Like how do these writers get it right like that, to just speak about, you know, life in such a way in this futuristic, you know, world or
But I think that that's a spiritual thing, you know. I work on a lot of really great writing in the theater, and you know, I did a play, Angels in America, which was written in the 80s, and it was so relevant in so many ways, even 40 years after it was first done. And great writing, even works of fiction, which is obviously what Andor is, still manage to do something, because great writers, I believe in like the kind of conversation between, like, great writers are conduits and all of it. Like, I believe in that. And so I feel like, despite it being a work of fiction, it also, it will resonate, because revolution and war and the battle between good and evil is a tale as old as time. Unfortunately, it's never, it feels like, ever going to come out of that cycle. And so these stories and these, I think what I love about Andor, the long form Andor specifically, is that it gives you insight into all the characters. So what would be in maybe a short film considered the baddies, Kyle and I, Cyril and Dedra, because you're going to see more into where they come from, what their reasons are for why they need the power that they need, then you wind up, whether you like it or not, maybe you'll have compassion or empathy or anger, or it will resonate with you from the place that you're kind of able to see yourself in the person, right? So great writing, that's why we need great writing, because it allows us to identify ourselves in places that we need to start doing that. Otherwise, we're never going to understand each other unless we can see each other, right?
Right. Well, thank you guys for the time. Kudos to the writer, kudos to the cast and agents, because they always seem to put the right new characters, and you two people are a part of that group. So I can't wait to see you as Andor continues to tell the story, and as the fans continue to just try to dig into who your characters are.
Thank you so much, Jamal. Man. Really nice to meet you. Thank you.
Spies. Saboteurs. Assassins. We've all done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion.
How you doing?
Hi, Jamal. Nice to meet you.
My first question is, I wonder, how has your life, I know you've been an accomplished actress and have many more projects, but how has your life changed since being a part of Rogue One and entering the Star Wars universe?
Well, it's a joy to be a part of the Star Wars universe and the family. Mon Mothma is a role that I really love playing. She's such an iconic female role and a really inspirational leadership role. You know, a woman who is really at the center of the rebellion. Personally, my life hasn't really changed. I'm just an actor who comes along. One of the great things about playing Mon Mothma is that I feel like I really get to step into her shoes, and without sounding disrespectful, also to step into her wig. I feel like when I put her wig on and her costume on, I can feel the history of that character and the iconography of her. And so it's a special role to step into, and particularly in Andor, to get the opportunity to flesh out.
We've chosen a side. We're fighting against the dark.
There is an organized rebel effort. Drill down and get a hunt started.
You realize what you set in motion? People will suffer.
Time has come to force her hand.
At what cost?
Everything!
And I know Rogue One, you know, you have, you know, movie credits and TV credits, but when these series started, when these streamers started creating these series and these long forms like Mandalorian and now Andor, how does it feel compared to the theatrical production being on set for this? Does it feel like you're shooting a movie as opposed to the TV when you're doing the series?
On Andor, very much. This has a huge cinematic scope. It is epic storytelling, the sets, the costume design. You know, Disney are behind it 100%. Tony Gilroy is writing it. We have it feels like, well, for me, this felt like we almost made 4 films because we shot it in kind of blocks, and it is unashamedly ambitious in its theatricality. And so the day-to-day work felt genuinely cinematic. It felt like a film. Obviously, we shot it during COVID, so it was very strange in that respect. But yeah, I'm excited to see this, not just the character interplay, which was very exciting to read and to work with, but also the cinematic scope that I know they are reaching for.
And the last question, how does Gilroy, or really you look at any of the Star Wars episodes that have been created, their stories seem to have this evergreen, timeless story where you're talking about the rebellion and the empire. How was it reading the words on the script and then looking at where we are in the world today and how some things still, you know, just are so relatable to right now?
Well, I think great storytelling really holds a mirror up to society, always. And I think Star Wars does that particularly well because it really blends the epic with the intimate very beautifully. It's a universal world, and yet at its heart, it has often been a familial story. And so I think there is great scope for storytelling within that. You know, it can be brave, it can be ambitious, but at its heart, it is deeply human. And certainly Andor is that. It is interplanetary. There are different planets, different worlds, different groups of people, but it's really about the tentacles of empire and people and community, and how we are most effective when we can gather together in one voice and hold each other up. You know, at its heart, Star Wars is about hope, and that's what Andor is about too. And I think it's good that you see those connections between the story that we're telling and what's happening in the world today, because that means it's a valuable story to tell.
And you did a great job, and I really appreciate your time and sitting here talking to you. Can't wait till the rest of the world gets to talk about this story, and we get to talk online about it and everything else. Good luck to you and everything, and keep on doing it. We'll keep on watching and cheering for you.
Thank you so much.